Lloyd, the summit's international events director, says the 2017 summit will be the best year ever.
It's for us the best year so ever, because so far we have 1,450 exhibitors registered, so we are quite happy about it. Then we will organize some animal shows, competitions for 2,000 animals, beef and dairy cattle, sheep and horses. We will organize about 50 conferences and workshops. We organize as well every year an innovation competition for our exhibitors to award the best innovations of the year in the farming and livestock industry.
For Southeast AgNet, I'm Abby Taylor.
Hi, I'm Adam Putnam, Florida's Commissioner of Agriculture. Floridians are all too often targets for scams and fraud of all types, including Medicare, charity, and travel scams. That's why the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services has made it a priority to protect Florida consumers from scams, fraud, and deception. To learn more about scams and fraud that target Floridians and find the resources available to help you avoid them, visit www.freshfromflorida.com or call 1-800-HELP-FLA today.
Shrimp, grouper, stone crab, oysters, clams. That's just a sample of the great seafood that Florida's Gulf Coast is famous for. Fresh, wholesome seafood caught by fishing families that for generations have taken great pride in their work. No gathering is complete without delicious Florida Gulf seafood fresh from the docks. Remember, when shopping or dining out, ask for Fresh from Florida seafood. That helps our state's fishermen and our local economies.
Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.
Is the internet driving business to your business? Hi, I'm Michael Warren with Brick City Interactive. At Brick City, we've been putting the web to work for businesses since 1998. We want to help you too, whether you're a real estate office, law office, medical office, manufacturer, retailer, a church, even a radio station like WOCA. We love to help businesses grow, and we have the knowledge and experience to make it happen. We offer professional, affordable web design, mobile responsive websites, search engine optimization, social media marketing, web video and promotions, online advertising, and more. Whether it's time for a redesign or whether you want to kickstart your existing website, let us help. Mention WOCA and we'll give you a free, no-obligation search engine optimization report for your website. This free report will give you practical steps to increase your search ranking. It's our gift to you from Brick City Interactive. Call us today at 352-351-1131 or visit us online at brickcity.com.
5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this overcast Monday morning. Galen Unol normally calls in about now from Life South Community Blood Center. We have not heard from Galen yet. On his behalf, let me just encourage you to donate blood. If you're a regular listener, you know that that's Galen's message every single day. Not just weekdays. It's weekdays only on the radio, but he has that message on weekends as well. And he even mentioned it during the high school football game that he did the play-by-play announcement for. So anyway, this crazy news out of Las Vegas about more than 50 people being shot to death from a machine gun wielding 64-year-old nut from the 32nd story of a casino/hotel across the way. There are more than 200 people that are injured. I'm sure many of them have blood products that are being administered to them, and that blood doesn't come out of thin air. It comes from donors, and they had to have donated it before. As Galen has told us many times, you can't really donate like today for somebody who needs it today. It takes a little processing, I guess.
Right, 3 days, he says.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Morning, Larry and Robin.
Hi, Frank.
What have you got going on at 10 o'clock? That's twice I've heard you say 10 o'clock this morning, and I look at my clock and it ain't.
You heard me say 10 o'clock?
You've mentioned twice now that it's going on 10 or something on 10.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry.
What you got going on at 10?
I'm sorry.
What you got going on at 10?
You know what? I'm just a robot. I'm looking at the clock, and you're right. The clock is wrong, and I'm just reading what it says. I'm not even thinking.
It sure is wrong.
Okay. I'm just curious, Larry.
All right.
Larry, Robin.
Thank you, Frank.
Oh, it sure is wrong.
Appreciate
I didn't
that.
even notice that. Gosh.
You know what? I might have did that, too.
Oh.
That might have been me screwing up.
Morning, Jess.
So what time is it, actually?
It's, let's see.
What is it,
according to my
8?
Computer, it's 8:07.
8:07?
But I don't know where what the seconds are. So
That's
my
right.
computer
That's
says
right.
8.
It's probably right, everything but the hour.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. We wanted to get to that Jerusalem book anyway, so that's okay. Look forward to it.
All right, so yeah, thank you, Frank, for pointing that out
Yeah.
to me. All right, well, anyway, so Galen will I love live radio.
Have no emails from Galen. Usually he sends me an email if he's not going to be on.
If you listen on Friday nights, let's talk about something good that people do. Galen is such an amazing guy, and he does so many great things. And he gives us, as a radio station, a gift on Friday nights now, doing the high school football games. And he doesn't get paid to do that. He's volunteering to do that. The person who sits with him at the schools and gives color commentary also is volunteering to do this. And
Yes.
and it's a really, really something I'm really proud of that we're able to do. It's something I could not do. I couldn't even be bad at it. I would be so bad at it, I wouldn't even be bad. That's how bad I would be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He's very, very good at it. The color commentary gentlemen that have been with him have also been really, really good. They make a really great broadcast, and it's an honor to be able to help out with that. My job during that is basically to introduce them at the beginning and then just sit here and make sure I play the commercials.
Right. And everything extracurricular, even you volunteer your time. So, I mean, everybody volunteers
So anyway, it's just
to bring good stuff to our community.
it's just a win-win. And if I could mention one thing about advertising, it doesn't happen without advertising. The radio station has to pay to be on the air, of course.
Yeah.
So that part is really necessary. So if you've got a business, and you want to get the word out about your business, and you've never considered advertising on radio, or if you are already in advertising, just, hey, I didn't think of the game. So the high school football game, it does two things. It reaches a different audience. I'm telling you, there are kids out there listening. So if you have a product that is interesting to a high school kid, they are listening. And not only will they listen live, but they'll listen on the recorded version as well.
Right, exactly.
So if you'll be getting your word out to a different audience than you might, let's say, on this show. So that's part one. But part two is that you are showing the community that you support the community, which is pretty important too. I will stick to my convictions that the world is mostly good people, in spite of the fact that we have idiots like this guy out in Vegas that just
massacre. It's horrible.
Do you know? Oh gosh, getting back to religion just for a second here. I'm not trying to. I don't know anything about religion. I know what I'm taught, but I don't know anything. But with this guy, he was shot, right?
Yes.
So now he goes to heaven, or whatever. He goes to St. Peter. Whatever happens. Oh gosh. You can't think for God, I guess, but if I just hope there's some kind of consequences that he can't just die and go to heaven. I don't know. Am I wrong in that? I know. It's just, you can preach to me and I'll hear you, and I get it. But I'm just as guilty of sin as anybody. But not
exactly.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even go that direction. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here?
But we're all born into sin, so the little baby.
So. The one thing I wanted to do with Galen, if he had called in, was to talk about these college courses, and I don't want to talk to you about any of them except for the one that has to do with what he did.
Okay.
Because listen to this, all right? These are 10 things you won't believe you can major in college, and one of them is radio sportscasting. I don't know if you can major in broadcasting like what we do, but sportscasting is a different animal, right?
Yeah.
Even for sports guys, somebody who does sports commentary like the guys in the weekends, right?
Yes.
Whether they or not, I'm not trying to pick on anybody in particular, but I know sports guys who cannot do play-by-play. Play-by-play is a completely different thing. You have to, in a fraction of a second, you have to be able to come up with the words and articulate what you're seeing on the field, so that the person listening to the radio gets it and can see it by listening to it. It's an amazing thing.
Exactly.
So one of the things you can major in college is radio sportscasting, and this is what it says. The ability to sit at a microphone and deliver a broadcast with nothing more than your voice and your descriptive observations sounds easy to the inexperienced. The truth is that the task is not as easy as a professional sportscaster makes it appear. Even a seasoned broadcaster often finds themselves in unfamiliar territory when assigned a play-by-play broadcast.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I'd be lost.
You have to know the game.
I couldn't even do color commentary, as I have already proven. Most schools with sports programs put special emphasis on the courses that prepare sportscasters and even offer on-the-job training on their college radio stations. Well, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So if there's a college radio station at the University of Florida, and they have a course in sportscasting, those guys probably go up there with Mick Hubert, I guess?
Exactly, I would think so.
I wonder if
Steve
they do.
Woodard, maybe. Maybe Steve gives them,
Yeah, maybe they do something.
things.
All right, let me go to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air. Jeez. Good morning.
You never did turn it off.
What?
You never did turn the switch off that I was on before.
I didn't turn it off. Oh, okay.
I've been listening to play-by-play on the telephone.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Frank. Yeah.
So much to do.
Now I turned it off.
So much to do. And you're absolutely right about sportscasting, because one of our friends, Dan, he went to, not this Dan from the radio station, but another friend of ours, went to broadcasting school up in New York State. And so that's totally different than going to a school to be a sportscaster. Totally different.
All right. I don't know where the Bloodmobile is, and I'm sure there is a need for blood. So let me just tell you that. I'm sure there's a need for blood. There's always a need for blood. Chances are any donations you make will not make it to Las Vegas. They probably have that all covered out there anyway. We're kind of far away. I don't think Life South actually would have anything to do with that. Well, you know what? I take that back. They would, because they were stepping up to the plate during 9/11.
Yeah, and also during Houston.
And also during
The
Puerto
hurricane.
Rico with Hurricane Maria.
Exactly. So, I mean, all blood centers work together.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Yeah.
You know, Larry, when I was in the Navy, in Little Creek in Gulfport, Mississippi, I was on base. They had an opening for somebody to do a nightly DJ thing. So I can do that. I've heard lots of radio. Your job is hard. It's a hard job. But I was probably the worst DJ. Okay, we're gonna play Inagata Davida now. People don't appreciate other people's skills, and it's hard for them to. And so that's where a lot of people will think that just because it's just like in my business, it's everybody. I don't know why everybody thinks that anybody that has, a
wrench,
are able to fix cars.
Right.
Exactly.
Those don't, you don't get skills just because you're born with certain things, and it's amazing how people think that that's the case. Well, my uncle was a mechanic, been a mechanic for 50 years. And I'm going, but like that was Model T. There's not the cars, but in radio, I mean, and TV too. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine the difficulty of working 8 hours a day, or whatever you guys work a day. I don't know what time you actually come to work. Well, before I get out of bed, I assure you. And your job is everybody. You got to appreciate everybody's position, but you guys have a tough job to keep it rolling.
Well, I appreciate that. I think I could never do your job. I would have. I've tried. I had a butter knife and
and a guitar string that day.
And a guitar string.
Yep.
I did fix my muffler one time with it was a hanging muffler, and I tied it back to the car with a big thick 6-string.
And a lot of people think that's a good job. I had a guy, honestly, had someone tell me, I have a mechanic. I have a regular mechanic, but do you think you could fix my horn? He says he can't fix the horn. I'm going like, what? you need to look at your mechanic. If he can't fix a horn.
Yeah.
So,
well, I couldn't.
Yeah,
fix one,
okay.
yeah.
But he 50 years now, you know.
Wow.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your what you guys did.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Appreciate what you've said.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for the call. All right, let's thank Palm Garden of Ocala. I could never do what they do either. Holy mackerel, what they do is amazing. Helping people who need health and rehabilitative services. Go to check it out for yourself. You'll see why we recommend Palm Garden. And Penn Flooring, go see why we recommend them for your flooring needs. We will take a little break and be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. More clouds and sun and breezy on this Monday with a stray shower, high 82 to 86. Partly cloudy Monday night with a shower in spots along the coast, low 70 inland, 78 along the coast. Breezy tomorrow, Tuesday, with clouds and sun. There'll be a shower at any time, except a couple of showers and even a thunderstorm near the coast, the high 82 at the coast, 86 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
I'm Jan Marino from Palm Garden of Ocala, and I'd like to tell you about the Palm Garden Way. We promote individual care, of course, but we also encourage GEMS. That's going the extra mile, and these are thoughtful individual gifts that make each guest stay special. A gem could be a daily latte or a new book or something else that means a lot to our guest. To find out more about the Palm Garden Way, take a tour, located on the corner of 27th Avenue and 34th Street in Ocala.
We all know that sound means there's going to be some need for collision repair work, and soon. What you may not know is that it's your choice where to have that collision work done, not the other guy's insurance company. Because your vehicle is much more than just transportation. It's like a family member. So don't bring it to just any chain collision center. Bring it to Lyle's Collision Service. When it comes to getting your vehicle back to 100%, you can count on Lyle's Collision Service. They're not some fly-by-night chain company. They're a family-owned and run collision center with over 33 years of experience. Working with collision repairs and vehicle restoration, Lyle's Collision only uses quality parts and doesn't take shortcuts like some other companies. They take pride in getting the job done right and in a timely manner. They specialize in insurance claims and they strive to get your vehicle back to you as soon as possible. So the next time you hear this, remember, it's your choice. And the choice is clear. Lyle's Collision Service.
The folks at Honey Baked Ham remind us that now is the time to make your holiday entertaining plans. The holidays are coming up fast. Reserve your ham and turkey now. What about all the parties and gatherings? Honey Baked Ham is the answer there, too. They cater breakfast, lunch, and dinner for intimate meetings or large parties. Again, reserve now. Honey Baked Ham is located on Southwest 27th Avenue behind Best Buy. Stop in or call 352-861-0011. Again, 861-0011. Honey Baked Ham, the world's best ham, turkey, roast beef, sides, desserts, and service. Direct Connect to UCF, where students who attend the College of Central Florida and graduate with an AA or articulated AS degree are guaranteed admission to the University of Central Florida. Success coaches are ready and waiting to assist you in designing an educational plan that is right for you in any of their locations across Central Florida. Remember, connecting is easy and guaranteed. Find out more at directconnecttoucf.com. All right, 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. This segment is normally occupied by a conversation that we have with Galen Unold from Life South Community Blood Center, and the important message is to donate blood. So if you go to lifesouth.org, you can have some questions answered, maybe not all of them, but you can go down to the Blood Center on Silver Springs Boulevard, and they will be able to answer your questions. And I believe the website also gives you the location of the Bloodmobile if you want to find out. Yes, it does. All right, so since we have a moment, let's get back to what we were going to talk about, the cases that the Supreme Court will be looking at this session. The first one is, and we kind of talked about this, I don't want to get into it again, but it's the wedding cake for same-sex couple. I'm sure you've heard about the baker in Colorado who objected to making a cake for a gay couple because of his religious convictions. So the Supreme Court is going to look at this and see what should be the law of the land regarding businesses being forced to perform a service regardless of whether they agree with it or not. Let me. Okay, you know what? I wasn't going to stick on this, but let's just say somebody comes to you and says, "You're a photographer. I want you to take some nude photos of me, whatever."
Yeah.
And they wouldn't want to do it of me, so of you. How about of you? All right, and the photographer says, no, that's against my convictions.
Exactly.
Should he be forced? Should he be forced to take those pictures?
No, he's a private entity. He should not be forced.
And what Jim was trying to say before is that if you've paid a deposit, then you are obligated to perform those services. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you were thrown a curve. We'd like you to do a cake for us. Well, here's the deposit. Okay. By the way, it's for a gay couple. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to give you a deposit back. I don't know.
Right.
But anyway, that's what the Supreme Court is looking at. Partisan districting in the state of Wisconsin is something the Supreme Court is looking at. Employee rights. We didn't really talk about this. The first case in the Supreme Court term is today. It pits employers against their workers. To be decided is whether businesses can enforce part of a contract with their employees that prohibits workers from taking complaints about pay, working conditions, and other issues to court. So in other words, the contract with the employee says you can't take this to court, and they say, well, if it's in the contract, it's in the contract. It also forces them to engage in individual arbitration rather than a group effort. Workers say the provision contained in millions of contracts violates federal labor laws. They want to be able to take it to court. They don't want to have to fix things with arbitration. Employers, however, argue that the federal law encouraging arbitration trumps the labor laws. The administration is supporting the employers, reversing the position taken by the previous administration.
Oh.
Well, there you go. The next thing that the Supreme Court will be looking at is not scheduled yet, but it's about sports betting. Governor Chris Christie from the state of New Jersey is appealing court rulings that effectively prevent the state from making it legal to bet on professional and college sports games at casinos and racetracks. Governor Christie, whose term expires at the end of the year, almost certainly will be out of office when the case is decided, but it could lead several states to seek a share of the estimated $150 billion that is bet illegally on sports each year.
Oh, gosh.
So what do you think is going to rule here? It's money that the state could make. If you have illegal betting going on in the state of Florida, let's say,
Right.
on college games and professional games,
Right.
if you have illegal betting going on and they make it legal, then, of course, they can tax that betting.
Right, exactly. They make it legal. Gosh.
I don't see why not. Make it part of the lottery.
Yeah, that's right. Just have an extension, just like those.
Just go. Yeah, if you go to the lottery right now, you bet my numbers are going to come in tonight, right?
That's right.
So you bet my team is going to win tonight.
Right.
What's the difference?
Right, exactly. Same thing.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
She's always so happy.
Let's see. Another case that the Supreme Court is going to be looking at is cell tower site records.
Oh, my.
This is not scheduled yet. This
you
is a
have to-
case. I'm sorry?
You have to keep records of what goes on in your cell towers?
Let's
or-
find out. And this is a case about privacy in the digital age. A man in Michigan who was convicted in a string of robberies of stores selling cell phones and other equipment says the police should not have been able to obtain months' worth of records of his cell phone use without first getting a search warrant. The records helped place him in the proximity of the stores when they were robbed. The decision is likely to affect the privacy rules for a raft of digital data held by large institutions, including banks, telephone companies, and internet providers. So if they rule that the police can't use this information, oh my gosh.
Wow.
If you're not doing anything wrong, there's no reason to worry about this. If you want to argue with that, and maybe you'll convince me that I'm wrong. But I don't see any reason why we shouldn't allow police to be able to do that.
No, not at all. Protect.
Where were you? It's all it says is where were you, not what were you saying,
Yeah.
right? They don't know what you were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
The state of Ohio has a case that the Supreme Court is looking at. It's voter purge. That is going to be talked about by the Supreme Court November 8th. Ohio is asking the court to okay a procedure for culling the state's voter rolls that begins by identifying registered voters who have not cast a ballot in the past 2 years.
Well, that's a good idea.
A lower court found that the practice was barred by a federal voter registration law. Civil rights groups portray Ohio's effort as part of a Republican push to restrict voting. It's always that's what they told us.
Yeah, always.
This is another case in which the Justice Department, which had backed the civil rights groups, has switched sides since Trump became president. Well, yeah. Do you know, by the way, in the state of Florida, you can now register online?
Yes.
That was in the news this morning, this weekend.
Excellent. October 2nd.
And the last thing that I have, anyway, that is a case the Supreme Court will be looking at this term, which begins today, is not scheduled yet. It's regarding union fees.
Oh.
The Supreme Court could deal a blow to Democratic-leaning unions that represent government workers and overturn a 40-year-old precedent. The justices will take up an appeal from a government worker in Illinois who objects to paying fees to the union that represents government workers to help pay for contract negotiations and other non-political union tasks.
Oh, gosh.
The same issue was before the court last year, and the unions seemed headed for defeat when Justice Antonin Scalia died. The court was split 4-4. The new Justice, Neil Gorsuch, could be the fifth vote the anti-union side needs to win.
Wow.
Anybody want to call in with an opinion on that one?
Wow.
I don't have an opinion on that one.
If you belong to a union.
So those are the things the Supreme Court has to deal with.
Wow.
The reinvigorated Supreme Court will enter the national stage this week facing a battery of contentious issues. I just read the ones to you that I had. Anyway.
Well, good. They take it day by day, one day after another.
See, they call the cake one a gay rights issue.
Yeah.
It's not a gay rights issue. It's a religious rights issue.
Exactly.
Should you, in your... If you were a gay baker, right? And you had somebody coming in and say, I want you to make a cake that says, I hate gays. Shouldn't you have a right to say, no, I'm not going to make that cake?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that the craziest thing, to have the government telling you are forced to make a cake?
Yeah, it's a private entity. You have your own rules when you're private. Got no.
All right. The important part of this segment is always donate. Please donate blood. You will save lives when you donate blood. And thank Palm Garden and Penn Flooring for making that announcement possible. Galen, hope you're okay. And great job Friday night, by the way, on Friday Night Football.
Great job.
We will be right back with more AM Ocala Live.